I've had some friends write and text me and message me asking how all this rain has affected us here in the Florida Panhandle. And as you can see, our regular parking spot has become a drain for all the water. We do live a little bit up on a hill. You can see that the bayou is very full, but that's storm surge, not from rain. That's from the storm pushing up out of the Gulf. But this does play in, all this rain, to my prep of the month, which is health considerations. And what I want to talk about is your septic tank or sewer system and SHTF. Will it still function? If you don't know much about septic systems, that bermed area there in the front is a leach field. And when you get so much rain that the leach field, along with the rest of the ground, becomes inundated with water, it affects the working of your septic system. In SHTF, you may not have to have a rain event to affect your septic system. It may not work at all anyway. All of us, at least here in the United States, are most likely on either a private septic system, septic tank, or on a municipal sewer system. It's very important that you find out which one you're on, and it would behoove you to find out how it works and how it's maintained. If you're on a municipal sewer system, I can't speak to that much. You're at the mercy of the city or the county or whatever organization runs it. But one thing I would do is find out if you're uphill or downhill from the sewer farm. I lived in a town once where part of the town was actually downhill at the sewer farm, and they had pumps that raised the sewage up to the sewer farm level. And that is not an uncommon thing. Well, the power went out, and somehow sewage came back up the drains of the homes in the neighborhoods that were downhill. And it was awful. People had to move out of their homes, and the city had to pay lots and lots of money to remediate the situation. Now, if you're like me and you're on a septic system, it's very important that you find out how it works, what's involved, find out how old it is, and make sure it's getting maintained. Most septic systems need to be pumped out every 3 to 5 years. And one thing I really recommend is this book you've been staring at the last couple minutes. This is an outstanding book. It really is. Not only does it tell you everything you could possibly ever want to know about septic systems, but it's really entertaining. There's a lot of art in it. Yes, I said art. A lot of great drawings of how septic systems work. They include the history of septic systems, what can go wrong, gray water systems, all kind of stuff. I really enjoy this book. I've read this book a couple times. I've loaned it out. It's one of my favorite books to have as far as, well, maybe not prepping, but as a homeowner. Now, one thing you want to find out is if electricity is needed for your septic system to work, because the more modern ones do require electricity, and they need either electricity for a grinder pump or a pump from the septic system out into the leach field, and maybe both. And either one can affect how well it functions. So not only do you have to worry about rain and stuff like that affecting your drain field, but you've got to worry about whether or not electricity is working and you're pumping out of your septic system. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about how septic systems work, although I will say it's interesting, and you really ought to pick this book up if you have a septic system. One thing that I thought was real cool is it actually covers seepage pits and cesspools, which is an old-fashioned method of septic system. And who knows, if you're prepping and you have a bug out location or something like that, it'd be nice to know how to build a cesspool or a seepage pit. You know, a lot of people think, hey, I've got a septic system, I'll just keep on using our bathroom, I'll bring, rainwater in or whatever, water out of the well, and everything will work fine. And maybe it will, but maybe it won't.